Hey and welcome back to the channel. I really hope you're enjoying the new content. I am having to use AI voices more and more at the moment because my speech with ALS is getting very hard. I'm sure that you can excuse me that. So today we are looking at why Jimmy Page was very upset at Live Aid. The main reason, he blames Phil Collins, although I'm not sure that is fair.
Jimmy Page has said that, on reflection, 36 years later, it was a bad idea to get Phil Collins to play drums with Led Zeppelin for the band's reunion performance at the American side of Live Aid in 1985. Although it does seem a bit unfair to lay the whole car crash of a performance at Collins' feet. Speaking to The Times, Page says that it was really not very clever to draft in Collins to replace John Bonham, who had died 5 years earlier. The drummer couldn't get the beginning of set opener, rock and roll, he goes on, apparently referring to Collins. So we were in real trouble with that. This is not the first time Page has blamed Collins for the quality of the band's Live Aid performance, having previously accused him of bashing away cluelessly and grinning throughout the 20-minute set. Collins was brought in partly because he had played on Robert Plant's first 2 solo albums. He appeared with the band after jetting to the States on Concorde, having also played the simultaneous UK Live Aid show at Wembley Stadium earlier in the day, rocking up at Philadelphia's JFK Stadium in time to get on stage with Led Zep.
And it was said that Phil Collins knew the set.
Collins has admitted that his rehearsals for the set mainly consisted of listening to Stairway to Heaven on the plane. So not the best preparation. Although he was not the only drummer on stage for the Led Zep Live Aid stint, with Chic's Tony Thompson behind a second kit. Speaking to Q in 2014, Collins said, "It was a disaster, really. Robert wasn't match fit with his voice and Jimmy was out of it, dribbling. It wasn't my fault, it was crap. If I could have walked off, I would have. But then we'd all be talking about why Phil Collins walked off Live Aid, so I just stuck it out."
The drummers they didn't know the material, so we were in real trouble.
But for some reason, in Page's head, it was definitely all Collins' fault.
And we had like half an hour to rehearse or whatever, or an hour.
The good, or bad, news is that the whole show is available on YouTube, so you can make your own judgment. Although, you really have to ask yourself whether the accurate allocation of blame is important enough to sit through that performance.
And we're still trying to get the drummer to do the opening for rock and roll.
We could all just pretend it didn't happen. One good thing that did come of the whole thing, though, was that when Led Zeppelin came to play together in 2007, they all decided that it would be a good idea to rehearse first.
And neither drummer knew any of the numbers at all.
After 2 unfortunate incidents, including Live Aid, Page says in the Times interview, they practiced super hard before the show at London's O2 Arena. "If we were going to stand up and be counted, we needed to do a proper job," he says. "I think it was a superb concert. There were moments when my hairs were standing on end when we were playing. Unfortunately, it was just the one show.
Whatever we did at the O2 that would just erase all of these sort of silly sort of mistakes, you know.
A lot more could go wrong. I didn't want to be the one making the mistake." Previously, Page said, "Robert told me Phil Collins wanted to play with us. I told him that was all right if he knows the numbers." For his part, Collins felt there was plenty of blame to be spread around, telling Q in 2014, "I thought it was just going to be low-key and we'd all get together and have a play. But something happened between that conversation and the day it became a Led Zeppelin reunion. I turned up and I was a square peg in a round hole." He added, "Robert was happy to see me, but Jimmy wasn't. You could sense I wasn't welcome. It was a disaster, really. It wasn't my fault, it was crap." In Collins' defense, Led Zeppelin's next reunion in 1988 for the Atlantic Records' 40th anniversary concert with John Bonham's son Jason replacing him on drums wasn't much better received. It wasn't until their next full reunion in 2007 at the Ahmet Ertegun tribute concert at the O2 Arena in London that the band had a comeback performance they were happy with. What's more, Phil seemed to go down well on both of his other Live Aid set. He joined Sting and Branford Marsalis at London's Wembley Stadium, playing a couple of his own hits as part of the set, before flying in a helicopter piloted by Noel Edmonds to Heathrow and racing to Philadelphia by Concorde to play in the USA.
It seemed to me like Jimmy was a bit out of it at Live Aid. What's more, I don't think that Robert Plant sung very well either. So I'm not sure it was entirely to do with the drummers. Obviously, the loss of Bonzo was a huge hit for Led Zeppelin. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will be doing a few more bits of content just like it very soon. I'll be back with the best content just as soon as I can. In the meantime, as always, you take good care.